Hi, I'm Isaiah Thompson, and today's video will be on constellations, what they are and how we use them to order the cosmos. So what is a constellation? Well, for thousands of years, constellations have been considered patterns of stars, representing usually a creature or mythological figure, such as Perseus the hero or Orion the hunter. Many ancient cultures used them not only for navigation, but to mark the beginnings of seasons or harvests. The rise of the constellation Leo, the lion, might mark the beginning of spring for an ancient culture. By far the most useful and probably oldest constellations were the zodiac constellations. This group of 12 patterns, 11 of which represent something alive, a creature or figure, contain the plane of the solar system, by which they are linked. The plane of the solar system is the almost flat alignment of the planet's orbits around the sun. Records of these wandering celestial bodies in the zodiac date all the way back to the first millennium BC. So for thousands of years, constellations were what they had always been, simple patterns of stars. But this loose definition raised a few obvious problems. What if it was disagreed upon which stars formed the pattern of a constellation? Did nearby stars outside of the pattern count as a part of that constellation? And what about the hundreds of stars that were to be discovered later? In 1930, it was finally decided that the definition of a constellation had to change if we were going to order the night sky. So although we still recognize famous constellations as patterns that represent what they've always represented, constellations today, going by a more modern definition, are designated areas of the night sky. Therefore, each constellation now has a boundary, formed by an imaginary line that we include on many maps of the night sky. Although the true nature of constellations is much different, a simple model we use imagines stars fixed on a transparent sphere surrounding Earth that moves just as the Earth turns. This may seem hard to imagine, but it's easier to picture when you consider the fact that, since Earth is a sphere, the night sky must be set up in a sphere as well, with the constellations facing us on the inside. Since Earth rotates around the sun, our view of the constellations changes. So, the constellation Orion, for example, can't be seen year-round in the northern hemisphere. This is why, again, many ancient cultures use constellations to mark the beginnings of seasons. Constellations are often confused with asterisms, which are also star patterns, but they're not formally recognized as constellations, and a lot of them are much newer. An asterism you're probably familiar with is the Big Dipper, which is a group of 7 stars in the constellation Ursa Major, the Great Bear. The Big Dipper itself isn't a constellation because it lies within a greater star pattern, Ursa Major, which is recognized as a constellation. Therefore, the Big Dipper, as we know it, is an asterism. Unfortunately, many stargazers and observers of the night sky adopt a two-dimensional misconception about the constellations. Everything in the galaxy, the universe as a whole, is three-dimensional. Just because a constellation appears to represent a mythological figure to us, doesn't mean that all its stars are the same distance away. In another part of the galaxy, a constellation would look completely different. For example, the constellation Cassiopeia forms a familiar-looking W shape in the nighttime sky. However, one of its stars is 54 light-years away, another 550 light-years, and another 99. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.